two Louis Vuitton Cherry bags 20 years apart. One is a vintage holy grail and the other just hit the shelves. But here's the thing, they're not as similar as you'd think. Today I'm comparing the original 2005 Murakami Speedy 25 to the brand new re-edition 2025 Speedy 20. We are going to be talking about canvas, cherries, construction, collector value, and the big question, do I need both? Let's get into it. Hi, my name's Rachel. My YouTube channel is called Rachel Went Shopping, where we talk about all things fashion, but especially handbags, and one of my favorites is, of course, Louis Vuitton. If you've been watching all of my cherry unboxing videos, you know I unboxed this Speedy 20 from the 2025 re-edition collection that came out on May 22nd. This bag was not originally on my wish list because I stated I was waiting to secure the vintage version and I didn't think I needed both. At the very last minute, I ended up adding the Speedy 20 to my order and I loved it from the moment I unboxed it. My reason was that I did not own a Speedy 20 and this one was different enough from the vintage one to warrant both. I also have to be honest, I was under the assumption that I wouldn't be acquiring the vintage one for around 2 to 5 years. The resale price on the vintage 25 has skyrocketed. We are seeing these bags selling for $4,000, $5,000. My assumption was that it would take at least 2 years for the resale prices to come back down to that $2,000 price range, which was a price that I was more comfortable with. If you watched my surprise unboxing story time video for this bag, you will know that I found it on Facebook Marketplace for $2,200. It was an absolute unexpected whirlwind that I was able to secure this bag much sooner than I expected. This made me take a very hard look at whether or not I need to keep this bag. So in this video, we are going to be doing a very detailed comparison of the two, and at the end, I will talk through what I'm thinking as far as keeping or returning this bag. And of course, you guys know I cannot wait to read your feedback in the comments. You may see me using gloves in today's video because I am considering returning this bag. I want to be very delicate with it. I unboxed it in my unboxing video, but I have not used it. I have not abused it in any way. I just tried it on, which you guys will see in video, and put it back in the box. But now, since I'm going to be doing this comparison, I do want to make sure that I'm being very gentle with it. But if I'm touching it, I am going to put the gloves on. So what are we going to be covering in this video? We are going to be talking about the design and overall aesthetic differences of the two bags, the quality of the materials and the construction, the packaging and the little extra details, the different functionality and everyday uses between the two, and of course the market value and my resale predictions for the future. By the end of this video, I will give you my collector POV and tell you which one I would choose and or which one I might keep if I decide to return this one. Let's start off with an overall look at the differences in design and overall aesthetics of the two bags. The Speedy 25, of course, has that classic Speedy shape that we know and love. The 25, of course, was a request of Audrey Hepburn. The 20 is a brand new release. I believe it came out in 2020. It's a little more playful and trendier. It has my favorite feature, which is the zip down the side, and it comes with a crossbody strap. Let's do a comparison on the overall size differences between the two. You can see that the 25 actually looks quite bigger than the 20. When I line them up next to each other, you can sort of see how much longer this is. There is a look at the depth, and of course, you've got the height. They are both made of one single piece of canvas, so the monogram is right side up on this side. It goes under like that, and then it is upside down on the back side. The handles actually look very similar in proportion. I do think the handles are the exact same size. Let's take a look at the canvas. I can definitely see color differences in the monogram print, and I want to put it up close or show you detail shots so that you can really see the differences there. The 25 blends in a lot more with the background. The 20 monogram stands out a lot more. You can also see differences in the grain and texture of the canvas. The texture has much more depth to it here. It looks a little larger versus this one, which looks a little flatter and more smooth. At the same time, this canvas has more of a matte finish on the 20, while the 25 has more of a shiny finish, and this one has aged very well for being 20 years old. You can see that one of the biggest differences is in the cherry placement. Obviously, this one features the double cherry. This one features the single cherry. This print is covered with single cherries. They are a little more spaced out in the newer version. Very different aesthetically, in my opinion. They're also utilizing different printing techniques. This is said to use 7 layers, the top layer being a clear coat that gives it that sort of 3-dimensional look. It looks shiny. Lots of people are saying that it looks like a sticker. If we read the cherry booklet that came with this bag uses serigraphy, which is basically a silk screening technique to get the print. It has 15 different pigments. However, I do believe it is around the same amount of layers, 7. I will confirm that. But they can do multiple pigments in a layer. But this does have 15 different pigments to obtain the bright shimmering colors of the cherry. They also used a gradation technique inherited from the ceramics industry that has never before been used on leather goods to give it that gradation. You can see the top of the cherry is lighter and the bottom is darker. This was truly innovative when it came out in 2005, and I do believe that they really wanted to modernize it and use a new innovative printing technique in 2025, which is why they did the 3-dimensional cherries with that glossy finish to give it that really juicy look. I like both. I think they are very different. Honestly, it's hard to pick a favorite as far as the printing technique. I thought I liked the bigger cherries more, but now that I own this one, I do like how close together the single cherries are on this bag. Now let's take a closer look at some of the materials and construction. In terms of the thickness of the canvas, this canvas feels very thick in comparison to this one. This feels very thin, very malleable. I don't want to like press this one too much, but it does not have that malleable feel like this soft canvas does. So it does feel durable and thick and very different from the original version. The vintage bag, of course, comes with the lock. Mine didn't have the key, but I did end up ordering a key on eBay. So I do have one here. So you can close the zipper and lock it over here if you wanted to. This bag does not feature the lock. It does have this clochette though that has a little key ring in it that you could hang something off of if you wanted to. Let's take a look at the differences in the hardware. So you've got the leather tab on the end of this bag. As they age, they can rip, or some people pull them off and they have to get them repaired. Louis Vuitton will repair them. This one does not have that leather zipper pull. So you can see it has that big, chunky gold zipper. It is 2 zippers, which is very nice. This is a single zipper. This hardware is obviously aged, so they're very different. This is very bright gold. This has more of that aged brass finish. I'm sure it could be brushed up a little, but it's not gonna be this shiny. The hardware is also a lot thicker on this bag than it is on this bag. You can see how substantially that difference is. This hardware is also all has Louis Vuitton branding on every inch of it, whereas this is just standard hardware. There is no branding on this hardware. There is, however, on the rivets there. There's still branding on those rivets too. You've got the Louis Vuitton Paris Made in France label there. And then on this bag, they're both blank. The label is on the inside of the bag there where it has that Murakami plaque, which is made of leather. The leather parts of this bag are both vachetta. The 2005 vachetta, of course, has this gorgeous honey patina. It has aged pretty evenly. Mine has some water spots on it, while this is Brand new, blonde, fresh vachetta, has not seen a lick of sunlight yet, and it will age over time. That also makes it a little scarier to carry. You do want to be worried about water spots, etc. So that's something to keep in mind if you are buying the new one. The overall weight of this bag, they might feel a little similar because this one is smaller, but this one has more weight to it. The hardware is overall thicker. The canvas is overall thicker. So I do just want to point that out. Okay, let's take a look at the inside of the bag. The color, the feel, the materials, and the inside pockets. The original 25 version has the brown canvas lining, which honestly, this definitely needed a little bit more fun. And I love the update on the 2025 version where we get that red lining. So fun to get that pop of red. They are the same material. They are that canvas material. This bag features this small interior pocket. This one has a small slip pocket as well. One fabulous detail I want to point out about the original though is the red stitching. You can see the red stitching along the top there. I really wish that they had carried this detail on the new bag. You can see this is just plain brown stitching. This was one of the best little details of the vintage collection that I absolutely love. Overall construction, I do have to say that the piping on the side of the new bag does look nicer than the 2005 bag. I don't mind either, but you can see how this one is kind of like warping in. This one looks pretty straight and perfect. So if that's something that you pay attention to, I did think that that was interesting. Honestly, I do think this bag has really great quality. Let's talk packaging and extras. The original Speedy bag would have come in the brown box, while the updated Speedy bag came in the new yellow orange. I think we call it saffron box. Let me show you. I don't have the original box. This is obviously the box that this one came in, and I got some of that Murakami packaging. So it came with the ribbon and an onion head from the original collection, and then the receipt. Of course, sorry, mine came with the saffron box, but some people did get the cherry shopping bag or the cherry box, which I'll show you what the bags looked like. This is not from my Speedy bag. This is from one of the other cherry bags I bought, but this is what the special bag looked like, and this is what the box looked like. However, it was not guaranteed with every purchase. So again, if you're watching this video 50 years from now, the bag may or may not have come with this, which is a shame. The big thing that I do want to show you though is the dust bags. This is the updated dust bag. This is a standard dust bag for all Louis Vuitton bags, nothing special about it. But the original 2005 collection came with a limited edition red dust bag. Again, an awesome feature. You got that red stitching with the red dust bag. It was just the little details that made this even more iconic when it first came out. Now, as far as paperwork, the original bag comes with that textile tag that says what the bag is made of. This is required when you import goods into the US. And then it has the tag with the style information. It also came with these limited edition booklets that talked more about the collection. And I did show you the lock and key, which of course can lock your Speedy bag, or you can hang it off the side for look if you want. And then this is just the receipt. The new bag comes with this bow sort of keychain thing. There is a key ring in there, but I don't want to like move it around too much. Then it comes with the additional strap. It is not adjustable. It does actually fit pretty well crossbody. Again, I'll show you the original video from when I tried it on. And then again, standard dust bag. Some people got special packaging, but not everybody. Back in the day, everybody got the special booklet, etc. And these bags also shipped, if you were lucky, with a pack of stickers. This is kind of like a remembrance video. I'm telling you all the details, so if we watch this back 20 years from now, you will know everything that came with this bag. So both of them have those collectible elements. In this one, it is this. Obviously the special dust bag, if you can find one with it, that's great. This one came with special ribbon, tag, or the stickers. Let's talk really quickly about the functionality and everyday use of these bags. As far as the zipper for everyday use, Again, this is a single zip, so technically the double zip is more convenient because you could zip it to the center or you could zip it to either side. So that is a nice feature of that bag. And as far as weight, I would put them pretty much equal. I think this one is lighter. The materials feel lighter. The materials feel more substantial here just because of the weight of the canvas and the weight of the hardware, but they're about equal in comparison because this is a bigger bag. And then I just want to show you there are no crossbody strap options on this bag. You could hook a crossbody strap or a shoulder strap on these rings here, but on this bag, you get that wonderful D-ring option to wear this bag with a longer strap, which I absolutely love. And then my favorite part, of course, that it zips down the side, giving you so much more access than this bag, which you can see the zipper stops here. And it's a little less access in, but this is, of course, a bigger bag. A lot of people complain about the Speedy being like a big black hole, though, to find your stuff in. You get a ton more visibility with the size 20. As far as what fits inside, I'm not going to do a full what fits. There's plenty of videos on the 20 and the 25. This bag can fit quite a bit. However, I do want to say this bag can fit a lot, especially in comparison to like the Nano. You get good use out of either of these. They could both be good everyday bags. The fact that you can wear this crossbody though and fit a ton in it makes this a great everyday bag in my opinion. Same with this one, but if you prefer a crossbody, this is just a hand carry. Even if you have a big crook of your arm, it's hard to fit it there. So it does not have that strap. It is a hand carry bag. You have a lot more options with the additional strap here. And I will show you the strap. I have it tucked away inside again because I'm trying not to manhandle it too much, but still has the plastic on in there. And I will put the videos of when I originally tried it on so that you can see the difference. So despite the size difference, you would be surprised what both of these bags can hold. Functionality wise, this is a better bag in my opinion for everyday use. What about market value and resale value? This bag released in 2005 and it retailed for $995. This bag released in 2025 and it retailed for $2,870. That sounds absolutely insane when I say it out loud. That is a 188% price increase over 20 years. Now let's look at the difference with inflation. So $995 in 2005 is equal to $1,641 in 2025. So if we adjust for inflation, it's a 75% price difference. I know I can speak for all of us when I say we wish we were able to buy this bag in 2005 at that $995 price point. If we had the opportunity, what were we thinking? I graduated high school in 2005 and I was after a Chanel bag, but I wish that I had gotten this bag. I do want to talk about though that original release. This collection was just as popular in 2005 as it was in 2025. This was a difficult bag to get. Same situation, waiting list, etc. It was reselling on eBay when it originally came out. So the hype existed in 2005, still exists in 2025. Over the years, the value of this bag, though, people were selling them for very cheap. When resale really started to take off, the Real first release, these things were selling for cheap. Today, they're worth on the resale market, like I said, they're going for between $4,000 and $5,000 on eBay, which is crazy. Just because people are listing them for that price doesn't necessarily mean people are buying them for price, but the cheapest one I could find on eBay was $3,500. When you add import taxes to that, you're hitting that $4,000 price range. So let's just call it $4,000. So we can do a little math. That's a 300% return on your investment, basically. $995 versus $4,000 over 20 years. Pretty good return, right? This bag cost $2,870. It's had a couple sales. If I check StockX, there were, I think, more of these in the market for this release for sure. The average order value is $3,372. So about $3,400. Once you add in fees and everything like that, you're probably looking at closer to, I don't know, $3,700. So let's just say it's going for anywhere between $700 to $1,000 over retail, which is honestly crazy considering the starting price. I did see that Fashion File has a couple of these listed for $6,000, which is crazy. You guys do not pay that. My opinion is that I have no idea what will happen in the future. Do I think that this will increase 300% like this one? I do not. Why? Because this is a much higher starting price than this was. This resale price is basically coming up to today's market value of a Speedy, which is absolutely insane. Do I think this bag will be worth $8,000 in 20 years? I do not think so, okay? Do I think it might be at least worth what you paid for it, and you could get your money back out of it? I do think that that could happen, but honestly, I have no idea. Now, this bag, my original theory was that the market value will come back down after the hype and the FOMO of the re-edition, but I'm honestly 50-50. My hope is in 2 to 5 years, this will be back in that $3,000 price range. As we see the regular price of new Speedies go up, they seem to be holding strong on the resale market, so only time will tell. Will this go up to high enough up to the level of 𝒞𝒽𝒶𝓅𝓉𝓈 in that 6,000 plus price range? Who knows? Only time will tell, like I said. For me, this one has that iconic collector appeal. This is the original. This is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Nothing beats the original, but this one has a ton of hype around it. To me, it still has that collector art value of the story of the re-edition collection, etc. If you don't buy pre-loved used bags, and you pick this one up, or this was your first bag, and you tie it back to the story of the original collection, etc., I do think that this has great collectability and collector value as well. So in my book, it totally depends on, you know, your opinions on vintage versus new. Either one works great. For me, I want to go for the vintage, the original, the icon. I was alive when this came out. I remember it. But for younger people, this might be the one that really stands out to them. Or for the people that weren't able to buy it when it originally came out and only buy new bags, then this might be their grail. As far as scarcity, which one is harder to find now? I do think the vintage is technically more scarce. This one did sell out, but I do think there was a lot more produced. So in my opinion, I do think that this one will continue to be more scarce. As far as my overall emotional collector point of view on the difference between the two bags, it totally depends on you, whether you like vintage or whether you prefer brand new. I love carrying vintage because it takes the preciousness out of a new bag. As a perfectionist, someone that has a little OCD, I always struggle with breaking a new bag with fresh vachetta in. So I love being able to instantly carry a pre-loved or vintage bag. But which one would you keep if you could only keep one? This one is a piece of history. It's a time capsule. I even have the original receipt from my local mall, purchased in 2005, which again is the year I graduated high school. It's also the year I got my first luxury bag from that very same local mall. This one is current, it's trendy, and I was very lucky to get it in the pre-order chaos. But you guys know how I feel. I feel a lot freer wearing vintage or pre-loved versus breaking in a new bag. It is always hard for me to start fresh and use a brand new bag. The original is a true piece of fashion history. While the re-edition is gorgeous, it may not hold the same emotional weight that this does another 20 years from now. At least for somebody in my generation. If you are just starting getting into Louis Vuitton, you're in the younger generation, this might be that emotional grail for you. So what's the final verdict? Which one is better for everyday wear? I have to give it to the brand new 2025 re-edition. The easy access with the side zip, the addition of the D-rings and the strap to be able to wear this shoulder or crossbody. This is just a perfect bag for everyday use. They both fit plenty, but functionally, I love this bag. Which of these is a smarter long-term collector's piece? In my opinion, it is the Grail iconic vintage, all the little details that went into this true piece of art. And honestly, just fashion history moment in collaboration with Marc Jacobs and Louis Vuitton. So much in the industry has changed since the start of these collections. This is just an iconic Y2K grail. Which of these makes my heart skip a beat? And if I could only choose one, for me personally, it's the vintage. And I think it took having both, staring at both, sitting with both to realize that this one truly had my heart. When I brought this home, I can't describe to you how I was literally staring at this bag with lovey-dovey eyes, and my husband was like, "You are sick." I love this bag. I think it's a great bag, but to me, it's more like, I need this piece of art in my collection to check off a box. What I have learned is I do want a Speedy 20. The Speedy 20 is a great functional bag, but because I got the side trunk that serves the very same purpose size-wise, crossbody-wise, etc. as this bag, it is the one that I originally gravitated towards. I now do not think that I need both. I'm dying to hear your guys' comments on this. Now that I have the vintage version, which like I said, when I originally decided to add this to my order, unbox this bag, I thought this bag was 2 to 5 years out. Now that I have it, I feel like it's way too much for me to have the side trunk and this bag. I feel like I was meant to add the Alma with my original choices of the side trunk and the denim pochette, and those were the perfect 3 bags for me. If this bag does drop below value in a few years from now, could I pick this up in the future? Yes, as much as I would love to collect every single existing Speedy, the way that I analyze things and, plan things for the shelves, etc. in my collection, I can't see keeping this with the side trunk, with the new vintage Speedy. It seems like I can cover my needs with the side trunk and the vintage bag as much as I would love to keep this bag. It's also $2,870, which is a ton of money, and I'm trying to be a reasonable person here, which is very hard. I know some of you will definitely be disappointed. Do I regret this? It's a great bag. I think if you got this bag, it's an amazing bag. Do I need it is my decision. I just don't think I need it with this bag and the side trunk. I actually hate doing returns. It makes me so uncomfortable, again, because I feel like I always know exactly what I want and I just don't do them very often. I have only ever returned the Game On Neverfull because it had some like wonky construction issues. I think I returned the Nice Mini that I got when it very first came out because I realized that I don't need a plain monogram bag. I like the special collaboration ones and I wanted to wait. And then since then, I have not returned anything until this Cherry collection, which is where I felt like I needed to reel it in a little. So I do believe this is going back. I'm going to sit on it for a little bit longer, but that is my mindset today, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. There is a little bit more to the story too, as I'm reflecting now on all of the Murakami madness, all 3 parts, what I got and what I still think I need. I've been doing some reflecting, and some of that may also be impacting this decision, which I will talk about later. But the real thing that made me think about it was getting this bag and the way I admired and planned to use the 2. So I do think that that's probably the right decision. Please comment down below which one is your favorite, which one you would pick if you were deciding between the 2, or maybe you are and you are lucky enough to keep both. Stay tuned for a future cleaning video, as well as my full Murakami recap on regrets. And then I think at the very end, I will definitely do one full 2025 re-edition collection, what I got from all 3 parts. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.